Greetings, K9 lovers! This is Matt Harpatrick. Back in 2017, DreamWorks Animation made Captain Underpants the first epic movie, based on the popular children's graphic novel by Dave Pilkey. It was funny, had nice animation, and some likable characters with a heartfelt story. You'd think with the first epic movie, they would at least make more sequels based on the other books like The Wild Robot. That doesn't count! Well, turns out that's not actually the case. Instead, we got another book series that's getting the cinematic treatment. Back in 2016, Dave Pilkey made a completely different novel series after completing the Captain Underpants series. According to some storylines in the original series, the two kids, Harold and George, have made multiple comics that don't star the crime-fighting superhero. There were the adventures of Super Diaper Baby and two kung fu cavemen named Ook and Gluck. However, they acted more like spin-offs to the main series, and they didn't seem to make a lot of books like the Captain himself. It wouldn't be until the 12th and final book of the original series where Harold and George decided to retire their goofy hero and create a new one named Dogman. And wouldn't you know it, the Canine Crime Fighter became as popular as Captain Underpants. It's still spawning more book sequels to this day. While I did read some of the Captain Underpants books in the past, I didn't read the other book series Pilkey worked on. I know Dogman sold a lot of copies, but I wasn't fully interested in catching up to the Captain Dogman book universe. But I was curious about how they were going to adapt the titular character. So yeah, I'm going to this movie as a newcomer to see if it's funny and unique as the other Pilkey movie. Welcome to another episode of the Wonder Reviews. It's time to read the latest comic from Treehouse Comic Inc. This is my review of the 2025 Dogman movie. Like the Captain Underpants movie, this is an adaptation of the first story of the series. A policeman and his dog gets horribly injured from a bomb explosion. The nurses figured, what if we stitch the dog's head into the policeman's body? This of course marks the origins of Dogman, but he's having trouble adjusting his dog-like habits. But the city gets under attack by an evil cat played by Pete Davidson, and it's up to Dogman to save the day. So since this is my first time learning about this super cop, did this movie welcome me as a newcomer? For the most part, it did. It explained how it all started, what's the relationship like between Dogman and the other characters, what's his life like outside the police force, the list goes on. As for the comedy, I did get a bunch of chuckles from the dialogue, slapstick, and punch, which definitely contrasts the humor from Captain Underpants. So, it does seem like an entertaining family movie. Does that make it a great movie? Well, there are a couple of problems with it, and they're not really nitpicky, unfortunately. One issue I have with the movie is that the pacing is very rushed. Everything just happens so fast, it doesn't give enough time for both the audience and the character to understand what is going on. Here are some examples. After Dogman was created, he automatically became a hero in one day and already fought against Petey multiple times. There are also some scenes when Petey tried to steal Flippy the Fish for his master plan while having the idea of cloning himself as an afterthought. Everything is just all over the place. It felt like I was watching 5 Dogman books in one go. Now it doesn't happen all the time. It will have its moments to slow it down and let the emotions tell the story, like when Dogman lost his old home and wife, or when he becomes friends with little Petey. Another problem is that it seems to really hammer in the power of love scenario to solve every problem by making some evildoers good because the little cat said so. While I did not find it annoying in this movie, it still ended up rushing the plot even more. Remember when I said in the Captain Underpants books that George and Harold made Dogman after they stopped turning their writing principal into an underwear superhero? Well, this is what it feels like. A Dogman story written by 2 kids. There was even a cameo from them at one point. And yes, there are some moments where they go, hey, remember this stuff in the books? Which are only meant for the fans. But to be fair, the story does have a certain charm and imagination. I'll even say the characters do share the same appeal as the world they live in. If this is your first time meeting the characters from the books, there may be a chance you will like a few of them. They're not fleshed out or 3-dimensional, they basically serve one purpose while supplying some comedy. With the super cop himself, Dogman, he is what everyone says he is, a policeman who has a dog for a head. When it comes to his past life before the explosion, there wasn't really anything interesting about Officer Knight and Greg the dog. We were only given minimal time to see the two's relationship and life outside the police force. However, there is a sense of admirability when Dogman comes in and saves the day. Also, he's given some depth that he can feel lonely due to losing Officer Knight's girl despite his popularity. There's the police chief, who acts as the stern, aggressive leader that wants to make sure Dogman gets his job done. He's one of the most enjoyable characters in the movie and has an entertaining performed by Little Ray Howery. While he may be angry from time to time, he supports Dogman like his best friend and wants to help him capture Petey for good. Speaking of the evil cat, Petey is one of the main villains in the movie that's trying to destroy Dogman so he can take over the world. Like the Chief, he has this wonderful energy and presentation thanks to Pete Davidson. He really had a lot of fun playing this evil, cartoony cat that doesn't want to show his soft side to anyone. But then there's little Petey. Petey's little clone/son that prefers to be nice instead of evil. As a character, he's just there to bring the cute moments and the MacGuffin for both his papa and Dogman. But when we look into the relationship between the little cat and the other two, with him and Petey, I didn't really feel a strong father and son bond with the two felines. The movie tried to build up Petey and being a good father and stuff by talking about his old dad and how little Petey may represent the nice side that he's trying to hide. But even his flip-flopping doesn't make a whole lot of sense. One moment he wants to get rid of the kitten and feel relieved that he's gone, but then suddenly he changes his mind and wants him back even though he still finds his son/clone annoying. The only little Petey connection that does make sense is with Dogman because they both got abandoned by one important person in their personal life. Once Dogman found little Petey, their friendship showed that their world is not as cruel after all. For the rest of the characters, they really don't matter. They're only here as just background characters just to make references to the Dogman book with nothing special added. Like Sarah Haddock is the news reporter and Dogman's ally that's looking for the big news. The mayor of OK City is the mayor that's more aggressive than the chief. And Flippy is the telekinetic fish and the second main villain in the movie that plots to kill all do-gooders. Where the writing sounds like it was written by some kids, the animation also looks like it was drawn by some kids. But I mean it in the best way. The animation is meant to recapture the style of the Captain Underpants illustration like in the first epic movie. And since it's already established that this is part of George and Harold's works, it does have a nice playful atmosphere. The main setting, OK City, is actually an impressive location where all the buildings are shaped like tall cardboard boxes using markers to write the signs on them. Even the human and animal designs do stay true to the Dav Pilkey artworks like last time. The cartoony animation does present a lot of energy to many of the OK City citizens while making some funny jokes whenever Dogman unleashes animal instincts. When it comes to the action scenes, they can be a lot of fun, from Petey's latest weapon machine to the cool climax involving the living spray. However, as fun as the action is, they're pretty minimal even for a Super Cop movie, so I would've liked it more if there were several more minutes of combat involving Dogman fighting crime. There is one unique element that's been displayed throughout the whole film, and that's the comic book effect. It's a lot like the Peanuts movie where we see the dotted lines and scribbles reminiscing to the Charles Schulz comics. In this one, they show off a lot of big words and sound effects on the screen, with some flashing lines to capture the look of the Dav Pilkey books. If I did read the original book sooner, I think this is how the action and world building would go. It almost shares the same universe as the Captain Underpants stories. So, is Dogman on par with some of DreamWorks' best recent works like The Bad Guys, The Last Wish, and The Wild Robot? Not really, but I can still call it an enjoyable movie and another good Dav Pilkey adaptation. Dogman is a good movie based on a children's book. While the story is super rushed, the animation is still impressive, the humor is good, and the characters are likable thanks to the performances. If you're a fan of the books or you're looking for a decent movie that's fun for the family, you will have a good time with this. I can see why the Super Cop is popular nowadays, and I know he and Lil P will continue to spread joy and happiness throughout the entire world. I give the Dogman movie a B-. I'm Matt Harpatrick. Now if you excuse me, I'm going to play with a hypno ring. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, check out these other videos, or feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more upcoming reviews and other projects. I'll see you soon.